Well, and tomorrow you and I are doing cup practice at New Hampshire, Steve, and I know our focus is going to be on the cut line and who's around it and who can make up some ground this weekend. So check this out. And the interesting thing, I think, there's some drivers in here that are pretty good at New Hampshire and can maybe make a move in the standings.
Well, two things. There are drivers that are good at New Hampshire, and I believe anyone can have a shot to have a good day. I'm not going to say anybody can win. I think that discounts what New Hampshire brings for a facility. It's a very tough racetrack. But when I see how this race is going to run, track position, restarts, we've all said it. It wouldn't shock me. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 19th, Daniel Suarez 18th, even Ryan Newman at 17th. Ryan Newman, perhaps more than anyone, is the best at keeping track position. That's a polite way.
Yeah,
right? That's a polite way of saying it's really tough to pass.
He's wide on the racetrack.
So when we talk about temperature, I love that these guys are in the red down here because, Parker, I expect the pressure from Newman, Suarez, and Stenhouse to be felt by the guys above the cut line.
And you kind of mentioned, you know, with the strategies on offer, there's not a potential that Ricky Stenhouse is probably going to go win this race.
Yeah, right.
But there is a potential that he finds himself at the front at the end of a stage. And that's the thing that we're noticing in the sport right now, which is, you know, changing the mentality of how you view these races. We're not talking about top fives and top tens. We're talking about points earned. And that matters to this group right here. So if they can find a way to manipulate the strategy to find themselves at the front with a stage, get those 10 points, that's huge, right? I mean, that's why we're seeing guys having such huge swings off of bad weekends because another one has great 2 stages plus a great finish. That's a huge point swing. So the pressure is really on these crew chiefs and these teams to really manipulate those strategies the best they can.
And there's no more pressure than 15th. Jimmy Johnson. I was on Jeff Gordon's team in 2005 when Jeff Gordon missed the playoffs. By the way, that's the year I became crew chief because a crew chief change was made when Jeff Gordon missed the playoffs. Jimmy Johnson's never missed the postseason. He's a 7-time champion. Kevin Mendring on top of the pit box. I expected them to do more than what they are currently doing. No one wants to be on the 48 team that doesn't make the postseason. A lot of pressure on that race team.
Well, you bring up a good point because that team had so much optimism going into Kentucky.
Right.
After Chicago, Daytona, it was like a new team. I went and talked to Kevin Mendring before the race, and, I mean, it was completely different to talk to them in Chicago.
And they were non-existent in the race.
No. Non-existent. They had the tire go down, the wreck it. I mean, it was terrible. It was just a bad event for them, and they lost a lot of points. So that's a very good example of just one weekend can literally take a team from the positivity of what they had to being, okay, now we're back in the bubble.
One weekend, one stage, and they can be outside. They're only 10 points in.
That's a scary thought, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
The season is going so fast. Only 7 chances left to make the postseason. We're going to give you the 5 guys to watch coming up later in the show. We call Loudon a short track. Technically, it's not. IndyCar, though, is going short track racing this weekend at Iowa. Parker Kligerman getting you ready in the simulator. He's going to show us what drivers can expect. And the guy next to me is playing crew chief.
Uh-oh. Oh, man.
Look out.
Hey Motorsports fans, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe before you go for all the latest news and highlights across motorsports.